From Ondo State, where a somber mood enveloped the southwest state as President Bola Tinubu, state governors, ministers and other dignitaries gathered on Wednesday to pay their final respects to the late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Governor Akeredolu's remains arrived in the state on Wednesday, marking the commencement of his final burial rites. The 67-year-old succumbed to prostate cancer in a German hospital on December 27, 2023. Following his repatriation to Nigeria, his body lay in state until January 5th. Thousands of mourners, including students, lining the streets, paid their respect as the funeral procession carrying Governor Akeredolu's body passed through Akure, the state capital. Public servants also gathered at the governor's office to bid farewell to their former leader. Governor Akeredolu's remains arrived at the office he served in for nearly 7 years at around 12:30 p.m., where he lay in state for a brief period before being transported for further ceremonies. As a mark of respect, the state government declared Thursday and Friday, February 22nd and 23rd, as public holidays. And this event marks the beginning of a series of tributes and ceremonies to honor the late governor's legacy and contributions to Ondo State. Former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, said the federal government is trying its best to deal with various challenges confronting the country and ECOWAS and should be given time for its efforts to manifest. Gowon, Nigeria's wartime leader, who was head of state between 1966 and 1975, spoke at Aso Villa, Abuja, after meeting with President Bola Tinubu. It was the first visit of the 89-year-old elder statesman to the seat of power since May 29 last year, when President Tinubu assumed office. Speaking to reporters, Gowon led the country during the 1967 to January 1970 civil war, also urged the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to lift the sanction imposed on Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger Republic following military takeover of power in the interest of peace. Gowon is one of the founding fathers of ECOWAS in 1975. Talking labor matters now, the Trade Union Congress says it has backed out of the planned two-day nationwide protest declared by the Nigeria Labour Congress over the high cost of living, inflation, insecurity and hardship in the country. The Vice President of TUC, Rotimi Akeredolu, told reporters on Wednesday that the decision to protest on February 27 and 28, as announced by the NLC, was not taken collectively by both unions. The TUC, in a letter dated February 19, 2024, written by its Secretary General, Dr. Nuhu Toro, said the NLC unilaterally took the decision on the planned protest. This is happening as the Department of State Services warned organized labor against the planned mass action, saying it could be hijacked. The NLC had on February 16 declared a two-day protest which would begin after the expiration of the 14-day ultimatum it issued to the federal government, which will expire on February 22, that's today. The warning was on account of the alleged failure of the government to implement the agreement reached on October 2, following the removal of the fuel subsidy and other economic reforms, which had triggered higher transportation costs, inflation and general hardship. The situation had provoked protests across the country, with youths and women taking the streets over the food inflation and the higher cost of living. The national president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Emmanuel Osudeke, has warned members against making the union struggle look like a fight for their salaries and welfare only at the expense of better public universities. Osudeke said unions in the past made members' salaries and welfare the only focal points of their struggles when they should have fought diligently for the survival, continuity and efficiency of public institutions and systems. Osudeke disclosed this while making remarks during a university-wide seminar with the theme, The Demands of Scholarship in the 21st Century, which entered its second day on Wednesday at the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agwewe, Ogun State. He said the former approach made the union lose their jobs and welfare at the end of the day when those institutions collapsed, citing examples of workers' unions of moribund Nigerian Railways, National Electric Power Authority, and Nigeria Airways, among others. The ASU president said the workers lost their jobs as those public institutions collapsed. He said that had the unions in such places fought for the survival and preservation of the public institutions, they would still be standing today as national assets and employers of labor. But let's talk politics now, as the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, who was arrested on Wednesday in Benin City, the Ondo State capital, by operatives of Zone 5 Police Headquarters, has been released on bail. It was gathered that his arrest was a result of a petition forwarded to the zone from the office of the Inspector General of Police in Abuja. After his release around 2 a.m. on Thursday, Abure, while addressing his supporters, said the struggle to liberate the people does not come easy. He said his persecution meant to destabilize the party started after the general election in 2023. Also said the state chairman, Kelly Ogbaloy, and the state youth leader were still being held and would likely be released later today. Meanwhile, the other state chapter of the All Progressives Congress has welcomed the decision of the national leadership of the party to rerun the governorship election in the state, which ended in a crisis. The APC Publicity Secretary in Ondo State, Peter Owadiai, said the party was ready for the rerun holding today, adding that the state exco would speak further after the exercise. The last Saturday's primary, superintended by Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma, produced 3 winners and created confusion in the party. Uzodimma had announced Dennis Idahosa as the winner, while the returning officer Stanley Ugbaja also declared Monday Ukpeholo as the winner. Elsewhere, Ojoba Batunde, claimed to be representing the returning officer in all the local governments, declared Anemero Dekere as the winner of the election. Late Tuesday, the national leadership of the APC in Abuja declared the Saturday's primary inconclusive. In a follow-up statement on Wednesday, the APC National Organizing Secretary, Suleiman Argungu, said the Ondo State governorship primary would be conducted afresh today. Argungu also announced that Uzodimma had been replaced with Cross River State Governor Basi Otu as the chairman of the primary election committee. Otu will be leading the committee, comprising a former Osun State Deputy Governor, Mrs. Titilayo Laoye Tomori, APC's candidate in the Plateau State 2023 governorship election, Nentawe Goshwe, Umar Musa Lawal Garba, and Rabiu Suleiman. The changes were made a few hours after 4 leading Edo State governorship aspirants passed a vote of no confidence in Uzodimma. Still talking politics, the People's Democratic Party also will today hold its governorship primary in Edo State, with 10 aspirants battling for 563 delegates votes in the red primary. The primary holding at the Samuel Gwemudia Stadium, Benin City, is expected to produce the PDP governorship candidate for the forthcoming September 21 governorship election in the state. The 10 PDP aspirants include Edo State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu, former chairman of Sterling Bank, Aso Igodalo, and Blessing Igbenedion, daughter of Asama of Benin Kingdom, Chief Gabriel Sawari Igbenedion. Other aspirants are Ansem Ojezua, Felix Arabwe, Martin Oomoibi, Adiza Tumoru, and Omoigo Gbedeihama, Dr. L. Onaiwu, and author Esene